Hey folks, this is Wistful Dill Hill, and welcome back to the channel. And in this video here, first things first that I'm going to say is viewer discretion advised, because this video here, tonight here folks, is going to be more on a serious heavy note or tune, and it's something that I always wanted to showcase and do a gameplay on, but I kept forgetting and haven't gone around to it and everything, so I figured tonight would be at least the best night to showcase it here and to overall play this game. And this isn't going to be a traditional, gameplay, really, in the sense of, it is in a sense a gameplay, but what I'm trying to say is that this is going to be a more serious note of gameplay, and it's something that I feel is something that many people, while it is widely known and everything, I think it's important to make folks who may not understand anxiety to at least have a better understanding of it and to see what it's like and everything. Now, funny enough, I've played this game a bit here and there from time to time, and that's why I'm figuring, tonight would be a good night to go ahead and show it. Now, again, I've played this game before, obviously, and I wanna go ahead and showcase it here to you folks. What are we going on here? Well, headphones with best experience. There we go. Also, the link will be in the description below if you folks want to check this game out. You have no objective. And you folks are going to see, you really don't have an objective here at all. Now, what I mean by seriousness, I mean by heavy-handed and everything here. And you folks are going to see, by the end of this game, you folks are going to get what I mean. And I would say I would put this on the same note to Everywhere at the End of Time, or a heavy note media piece or anything, right? Like Everywhere at the End of Time, that 6.5 hour, music album that simulates dementia or Alzheimer's, about memory loss and everything. This would follow in the same category, I feel. Both are very real conditions, and both have a negative effect on, people and everything. So, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on all the lights here, because I feel like it would best showcase it here. I'm also gonna open up all the windows just for the hell of it. But I've always had a certain interest with this game, personally, because for someone who's suffered through anxiety, right? I've suffered through anxiety a lot, especially in my childhood and everything. And for someone who's, still has it to this day, and probably is gonna have it to the day I die, it's something that I want to go ahead and display here for you folks. Now, as we're going to see here, as you walk with me here, things are going to change, and it's not for the better. And at this point, I'm just going to let the game generally speak for itself. I'm going to try not to talk too much. And while this may not be exactly what it's like for everyone, I feel it's definitely something that we can all relate to in a sense, especially those of us that have anxiety and that suffered through it and everything. So I'm just gonna keep walking around and everything. You're not on. There you go. So, obviously, you can see things changing. You can hear the weird, scary whispers playing in the background. Interestingly enough, all of these rooms you can go in and open, all but this one here. It's the only one that's locked. Which is the biggest mystery in this entire game, you know. As you can see, things are kind of fading, getting a bit bloomed, maybe a bit blurry or whatever. The field of view is going to get much wider. And the heart starts racing as well. Hello, Mr. 1950s car. So everything gets all wide and blurry and everything. We also start to slow down a lot too and everything. But yeah, this definitely hits home, I gotta say. It's not a pretty picture. It's not meant to be. And I have the volume set to max on purpose just so that you folks can go through this with me here. The tension is high, folks. And you can't leave either. Not through the front or the back. Why did I not notice you before, Mr. Plant? Plant. And that's the entire game. There's one small disappointing thing I have with this ending here, but I'm going to read the following text here that it's going to display here real quick. Again, like I said, I played this game from time to time, and I'm going to read what it says here. You are never alone. Which is very true. There is always someone who can help. There is always someone who cares. Remember that, never forget. And all that's very true. And will always will be true. Thanks for playing. And that, folks, is the entire game here. Now, the only small difference I have with this here that I'm a bit disappointed in and a nitpick on is that there used to be, from what I remember, there used to be a song, purely instrumental, that would play in the background. And it was this nice, soft guitar play, that I felt added in the experience and everything more. And I feel like overall, still, nonetheless, this is beautiful and everything. Now, again, like I said, I have suffered through anxiety heavily and everything. I think many of us can relate to getting anxious or even suffering through anxiety and everything, especially with today, with the uncertainty and everything. I, for one, personally, have had a bit more anxiety and everything. And I'm not going to lie, I'm freaking anxious over the election here and everything, especially with this year and everything. I have heavy ass anxiety through the upcoming election this November and everything, right? And mainly because of how the world is and how the world's slowly turning into and everything. And it's something that I still suffer with, to this day. And it's something that I think most of us, a lot of us, are, suffering through and everything. Not that I'm trying to point it out or anything, but like, with the unknown and uncertainty of everything, right? It can be a scary thing. Now, I have suffered through anxiety since my childhood, and excuse me, I've had not only have I had heavy anxiety, but I've mainly have anxiety over being sociable, heavy social anxiety. I would often, and I still do to an extent to this day here, but especially when I was little, it was much worse. I would overthink a lot, from time to time, of mainly the uncertainty of the future and everything. I would always compare myself to other people and everything. I would always be nervous and everything. I have never had the greatest social skills and everything, and I think that's probably the biggest difference that you folks can tell. Obviously, through James or other YouTubers or whatever here, right? I'm not saying I have like a bad tendency to talk or anything, by any means, but I've always been anxious and concerned on how I sound or whatever, or how I come across or whatever. I've never been the best with certain words or being sociable in a sense, especially when I was much younger. It still is to this day hard for me to kind of get across something or best describe something, because even if I think it through and everything, certain words would be hard for me to get out and everything. I had a lot of speech therapy a lot and everything. I would have motor skills a lot and everything. It's no secret that I'm, disabled and everything. I'm not gonna lie. And back in the past and everything, a couple years ago, not even just 5 or 6 years ago or whatever, since I've had this channel, I would always try to find a way to hide my disability and hide me being autistic and everything, because I'm trying not to get choked up here, but I would generally worry on what people would, think of me and everything. And I still do to an extent and everything, because, I know I'm different, I mean, yeah, we're all different. We all have our different themes and everything. We all have our different varying colors, right? No one is a carbon copy of the same clone or whatever, even if there's super similar traits or whatever, we all have a teeny bit of a unique color within all of us, to say the least and everything, right? And I would always worry and stress a lot on what people would think of me and the image of others, and I would always be worried on people judging me way too much, because of, me being different and everything. And yeah, I'm not like different or anything. It's not like I'm an alien or whatever or some crap, but like I would often, in childhood, would struggle a lot. Not just with, anxiety and everything, but with learning and processing new information and everything, and to really get a big picture of everything, and feeling alone at times and everything. And this is the stuff I still suffer through to this day. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like mentally unstable or anything, by any means. It's not like I'm insane or anything, It's not like my mental health isn't depleting or anything, but I overall still suffer through anxiety from time to time to this day. And again, especially with today's world and everything, with many things being uncertain, with inflation and everything. I still think, not like heavy, but I do think quite a bit on, how I'm going to survive in this world, in a sense. Not that I need to survive now, but I've always been a person to think on the future and everything. And now that I'm older and everything, I'm practically an adult today and everything, right? I'm 24, I'm gonna be 25 this upcoming September and everything, right? That's a quarter century of my life, already passed and everything, which is just crazy and everything. But I've always strived to be independent, and to stand on my own 2 feet and everything, and to figure some things out on my own and everything, because I really hate being needy and dependent on others and everything. A lot of it's through state services and everything, which is going to be through a different video. And it even got to a severe point to where I had to take medication. The medication I would take is called Lexapro, and that's for another video for another time as well and everything. And I've also had family members who suffered through heavy anxiety. One of that being my oldest brother. He suffered through heavy anxiety and still suffers through with it heavy and everything. Not that I'm trying to get personal or anything, because I don't like to get personal here, but overall with everything, this is what I overall mean with a serious note, and when I overall put this game here, especially in the same tier or the same category as Everywhere at the End of Time, right? A project, like I said before, an album that's about Alzheimer's and dementia. This is similar in a sense. Yes, the 2 pieces are a bit different here. One's super short in a game. This one here, one is pretty fucking long, 6.5, hours and everything. But one's about a main feel, another one's about a brain condition that happens when you get older, and in some super damn rare cases, when you're young and everything, but they overall have a message, and they overall have something that I feel helps open eyes to, folks who don't have it, or folks that may not get it in the same image. And it helps put you in the shoes, helps you put in the shoes of folks who suffer through, a certain condition or a certain thing or whatever, that others heavily suffer through and everything. And I feel like it's overall something that I feel this game shows beautifully and everything, right? And the message at the end, I feel, is honestly super, hopeful and everything. Because while, yes, anxiety is very scary, and it's something that it's very, it's very tricky to get out of, I feel, and I feel like this game displays that beautifully with only a certain one path road, everything being fine and then everything slowly getting to the point to where I feel when that hard snap comes that you collapse in a sense, where everything just becomes too much or whatever. And I overall feel like if there was some form of victoriousness in this game or whatever, I feel like it will I feel like I'm just thinking as I go along here. I feel it'll overall do it injustice of the hardships or whatever anxiety, right? Because, and it's not to say that you can't get out of anxiety. You can. It's just super damn tricky, right? It's really hard. It's like facing an Elder Ring boss or in a Dark Souls game or whatever, right? About RPG mechanics or whatever, right? That's what it's like to me, how I picture it. It's like having to face a super goddamn hard boss in Elden Ring or whatever, because it's very tricky, and again, it's not very easy to get out of. It's not like a light switch where you can just, it can be in some sense, but the majority of the time, as you get deeper in, it's like digging a hole in a sense, or sinking in. And it's like, as you sink in more and more, it gets harder and harder to come out of and everything. But folks, at the end of the day, what I'm really trying to say here with this, I know I'm just yapping and I'm just talking over and over again more than playing or whatever, I hope that's alright. But overall, folks, what I'm really trying to get at or write home at the end of the day is that anxiety is something that I feel is something that's pretty serious, especially in today's day and age and everything, and especially with how the world is right now and everything. And I honestly find myself happier, depressingly. I say that because I feel guilty in some sense, and I have a bit of feel in that when I don't really care about what goes on in the world, That's not to say that I don't want to care or that I don't care, because I do, but with how everything's like drama and everything, and how everything's so extreme and everything, it does put me uneasy, and it does get me worried and everything. And how, again, with the coming election and everything, I freaking just want to go in a fallout shelter with that stuff, I don't care what it is or whatever. I'm going to throw myself in cryogenesis if I can, and I'm legit just going to go in a fallout vault, and like Fallout Acrisius style, okay? And I'm just going to freaking see you guys later, right? I'm just going to freaking wait until the bombs stop falling or whatever, and everything. Not to say that it's legit going to be that, but that's what it kind of feels like to me with how everything's been so extreme and so political size and everything. That's for another video as well and everything. A third one or whatever. But at the end of the day, folks, what I'm really just trying to say with all of this and everything is that there is still hope in everything, Anxiety is pretty much another tier of fear, and fear, I feel, is a pretty goddamn powerful emotion. It's super strong, and I feel it's one of those things that it's probably the strongest out of anything, out of any of the other emotions, because it truly gives you true vulnerability and fear and everything, It truly may make you feel small or weak or whatever, not that I'm trying to trigger anyone, but that's just core facts and everything. And with my journey with anxiety and everything, I feel that it's going to be my ultimate antagonist in the story of my life, right? I've suffered through with it heavy as a child, and I'm probably going to, again, still suffer through with it to the day I die. And I think that's pretty much true for the majority of us that have anxiety or a high sense of feel or whatever. But what the important key thing here is, what I want to leave tonight, folks, is that there is always hope. There's always a ground to stand on. There's always someone that can help in everything. And for a while, I always pictured it as a way of defeating anxiety, beating anxiety. But as I get older and get more mature and everything now, I don't think it's really in the sense to necessarily beat anxiety as it is to maintain it. I feel like, picture anxiety like it's rain, Obviously, with the storm and everything, no one can control the weather, right? Of course, that may be a digress thing in the future with advanced technology and weaponized weather or whatever, in some sense. But pretty much, right, rain takes a heavy toll on the overall day, right? If it's sunny or whatever, and suddenly when a storm comes, whatever, right? It's like, that's legit the representation of anxiety, I feel, as well. With everything growing cold, everything gets dim and dark and everything, right? Maybe there's a thunder here and there, but overall, there's a sense of coldness and wetness with rain and everything. But I feel like, I don't know necessarily if you can control the rain or whatever, but just like with anxiety and everything, sometimes it can suddenly just creep up on you, even when everything's fine. It's like, legit in the daytime or whatever, and a storm comes in. That can legit be like, to someone like me and others with anxiety, well, suddenly a storm just comes in. Anxiety just creepily comes in and everything. But the important note is that it does not last forever, no matter how long it lasts, Just like with rain doesn't last forever. It's not like on a Coruscant or whatever. I think that's what the planet's called in Star Wars. Mainly in Episode 2 with Kenobi, with all the clones and everything, Jango Fett and everything, right? That similar music or whatever. Well, it's just excuse me, but it's just endless rain and everything, right? Well, it's constantly a thunderstorm rain of an ocean, right? And everything. No storm is legit like that. And I feel anxiety is legit a yin-yang to that, because eventually it will pass and everything, but that's not to say it still sucks nonetheless and everything. And I overall feel like with this game here, and the fact that this developer here does have anxiety, I think it's in the description, I believe here, with this game and everything. They have suffered through anxiety themselves and everything. I don't know if I can find it or not. Yeah, here it is. I have suffered through a severe anxiety disorder and everything, and depression. But anyway, overall, I feel like I'm talking way too much in this video here and everything. But at the end of the day, folks, what I want to just write home in this video here is that, as I said numerous times before now, but overall, there is hope, at the end of the day. And there's always support and everything. There's always someone that can help you. There's always someone who can give you the help you need and the support that you need and everything. Again, for someone who suffered through severe anxiety and still is going to the day I die and everything, I feel like overall this game is something that is generally very beautiful, and it's something that's very haunting. It's the same thing I feel with Everywhere at the End of Time, well, that album displays dementia and opens eyes to people on that brain disease and everything. I feel like this follows in the same tier category of opening everyone's eyes to what it's like when fear truly takes over. Even if everything's fine and everything's cool, even if everything's sunny mentally and everything, and how it can just creep up and not only turn everything to rain and gray and everything, but overall things can just take over pretty damn fast, and how hard it can truly be to get out of it and everything. if you folks want to check this game out and everything, or experience-wise, I don't really call this a game in a sense because it's not really meant to be a game. I feel it's more meant to be on an experience and everything. But anyway, I hope you folks overall took something from this video here. I know it's not the most enjoyable, but it's something that I have suffered through and many of us suffer through and everything. So anyway, with all of this said and all of this out of the way and everything, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe for more, and I'll see you all sooner or later. Bye-bye, everyone.